Hey guys, how are you doing? Today we're checking out Rev Says Desu and his coverage on Johnny Somali and his supposed apology as he faces jail time in South Korea.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're going to do another round of topic parkour, quickly covering various topics that I don't want to slip through the cracks as we deal with the usual giant load of potential video topics that we've been covering recently. So let's begin with an update on Johnny Somali. So Johnny Somali has been dealing with a lot over the past couple of weeks.
Do you have any favorite channels?
Korea, and now he is facing up to 10 years in jail. Now you can see the enthusiasm behind Johnny Somali's downfall, right? This tweet from
he was born here.
Covering this has over 300,000 likes, nearly 22 million views.
That's right.
In just one day. Now, of course, the most recent updates about Johnny I covered in my previous video from a few days ago.
Who will send to the police?
He's been in South Korea for a couple of weeks, and he's been doing his normal nuisance streaming, but he crossed the line into basically way further than he ever thought he could have.
There's a lot of problems around.
Groping and kissing comfort women's statues. That caused a lot of Korean streamers to get very upset.
Yeah, he's done like 20 streams.
Basically rough him up every time he goes outside. Eventually getting so bad, Johnny Somali wants to leave the country. He is prohibited from doing so by the police because they're investigating him for multiple
They don't know the concept of free speech. So yeah, he just does stuff and the viewers just accept it like it was natural.
These streamers to come and find him, and within 24
he does a
hours,
stream.
They come and find him, and one streamer in particular,
and no one will let him.
Leaving the place he was staying, and he's bloodied and dazed from it, and really at that point Johnny Somali is running scared. And things get even worse when you start looking.
Apparently if he wants it back, he has to get a judge to say the terms are fair and give his passport back first.
Serious Korea takes, in particular, drug-related offenses.
I did not. I do not condone that kind of behavior at all. He should never have put his hand on another's property.
Drugs can result in a sentence of up to 10
Who is Evil Neuro?
years in jail and up to a fine of
Who is Johnny?
$72,000 US. Meanwhile, assaults, the other charges, can carry a maximum penalty of 2 years or around $3,500.
Who is Johnny?
So, of all the shenanigans he's been doing in the social...
You must have a different video from me then. That's just plain awful. What an evil man. I feel so bad for what they're doing to him.
For redistribution of drugs, it's not selling drugs, it's just simple possession.
Is that why they got a warrant for him?
And if he is caught with that, he is facing a very, very strict sentence. And since our last video covering Johnny Somali, his latest Twitter account has been suspended.
Oh, I'm sure he won't do that.
Account, and also his second and even, I think, third YouTube
They are making an arrest. What does that have to do with him being a pedophilia pot?
Platform, he's been banned from there for over a year at this point.
Wow. Why does everyone keep mentioning pedophilia?
So
that's really not true at all.
I think he's doing everything he can to try to fix the
Shut up, it isn't even true. But why don't we do a video about how all that's so false?
Step right here. Translated, of course, so it appears that Johnny Somali and Hank Yu, one of his friends he was causing havoc with, have apologized.
So what you are saying is he won't get into any more trouble if we fix him?
And he shaved his face and tried to basically play up that he's really
Well, yeah, because I think we did the whole fix video already, and it just wasn't true at all.
He didn't understand the significance of what he was doing. And you can see he was in the
he isn't
car
actually a friend of mine, so...
visiting these comfort women statues with several of the YouTubers, streamers, and alike from Korea who were not only criticizing him, but also hunting
The
him
whole
down
thing
and
about
trying
his
to
friend and the
jump him.
comfort woman
So this
statues.
is a very interesting
I don't
situation.
actually
You
know
can
any
see
comfort
this is
woman
a
statues.
YouTube video posted today where
I've
we're
only
seeing
watched
these
like 2 other
interactions where
streamers.
he's getting a much more welcoming presence here, and it seems like they're trying
Why are
to
you talking to me
reconcile
instead of him?
something here, and whether or not they believe him, it's kind of hard to
Welcome,
tell.
Tao.
Language
I don't
barriers,
actually
but
know anything
the
about these
first
YouTubers
top
at all.
comment on this video is pinned by the uploader where it says translate.
Welcome, How? He doesn't talk
Dear
about
Korean
anything
people,
I'm
please
interested
do
in at
not
all.
accept
I have
or
no
believe
idea who they are
Johnny's
or what they
apology.
talk about.
He is not sincere in his apology. He did the same
It
thing.
is a bad
Johnny
sign.
Apologized and left for Bali. As soon as he arrived in Bali, he gossiped about the Japanese and the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which I do remember the source I had for that back in the day. They've been DMCA'd by likely Johnny Somali.
So Johnny has
But
some
he
problems with
immediately,
Japanese
upon
people.
entering Bali, just started saying, I'm not sorry for anything that happened in Japan. And he started saying the Hiroshima and Nagasaki stuff again. So clearly when he apologizes, he's lying through his teeth. And people are making sure that these Korean streamers...
The only Japanese person he saw here was the one he slept with in his last video.
His teeth at any given moment to try to save himself, because He is in a terrible situation.
In Johnny's mind, it
Obviously,
seems
the
that
laws
Hiroshima was
in
some kind of bomb
Korea
testing area for
seem
the
to be much
USA in
more
which he can
harsh
blame
than Japan.
Japan
That's
for
the big
whatever it did to the
criticism
USA.
of the Japanese law enforcement, who gave
He
him
isn't. He
what
seems
many
to be
would
happy
consider
about
a
that.
very light sentence for all of the crap he did.
I know
while he was in
criticism is
Japan,
what they
but
want.
In Korea, not so much. He's facing some very serious legal penalties, and also, as we've seen, pretty much
They
every time
have
he
to
goes
prove their
outside,
words by their
he's
deeds.
facing getting jumped by many different people. So let's move on to
As
the
I
next
can
topic
read
of
at
this
Johnny's
video.
Twitter,
So here's
it's the case that the
headline from
Japanese
Matt
justice will
saying,
do its
Take
job in the
Two
way that
Interactive
Johnny hates
CEO
the
admits
most.
Borderlands movie box office was disappointing.
What you call
but
music?
reveals it sold more catalog. So if you're not familiar with this movie or you didn't see it based on this franchise,
I know
here,
that.
this was an absolute disaster. This was one of the biggest flops in the box office in some recent memory, and it left a lot of people very disappointed and questioning
The
why
anime
this
were
was
not
even
bad.
created in the first place. And as soon as it came out, the CEO was seeing the very negative reception of this and basically said, please give this film a chance. Literally
People
begging
began
people
asking what
to
was
go
the
out
point in
and see
releasing this
film
on Blu-ray.
because
It became
the results
evident
of
that the
it
whole
were
thing is in
absolutely
shambles.
abysmal.
People started asking
So
for
the
refunds.
film
Lawsuits were
eventually
filed.
went into the box office and grossed 15.4
Do not let them
million
hurt you with
domestically
those
and
games.
another 17.4 internationally for a total gross
As
of
I
about
said, I think they
$33
are
million,
done.
and it was reported that the budget was 115 million. And if you know anything about how films work nowadays, you have to basically multiply that budget by several percentage points.
105 million
was around
worldwide,
300
which is
million for it
apparently
to
just
break
too many to ever
even
see.
for this film, and obviously, as you can see,
To believe it
wasn't
was
even
made
close.
for
But
no
the
more than the
justification
stated
here
number, and a good
from
chunk of that came
the
from
CEO is
marketing.
that it kind of brought more attention to the franchise generally. I don't know if it was worth well over $100 million loss, but anyways, I guess that's just the copium for now. But in 2024,
I imagine it did.
this
The
has been a
fandom
year
is
of
still
the
trying
flop
to
in the
figure out
video game
exactly
industry
how
as
the
well.
film was made, so no
We've seen
doubt
some
many
big
people are
and
now more
beloved
interested in seeing
franchises
how a
do
franchise
very,
such
very
as that could be
poorly.
made.
However, despite those flops, we have some successful games getting a sequel, and that is Hogwarts Legacy. So it's been announced.
As someone who has never actually seen the film itself but have seen a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, I think I can speak with a good amount of confidence and say that there is a big possibility the franchise is finished after this. It may even end with this film, but only time will tell. The market for cinema franchises is getting much, much smaller by the day. We are at the end of the game for that.
Harassment campaign surrounding this game, where people believe playing this game made you a transphobe because it's an IP that belongs to J.K. Rowling.
We haven't. The one that did best was Red Dead Redemption Roman 2 at 17 million.
They believe sales of this game would support her in whatever agenda they believe she was having. And in this
We'll have to agree to disagree, but the Harry Potter franchise is still going strong as I see it. If people wanted something more than the film they were given would have had to have been much bigger than it actually was to be in the conversation.
Just because they dared to play this game, which apparently a lot of people play because this game sold over 30 million units.
Yes,
and
I think the
generated
Harry
over $1
Potter
billion.
films and book will end
So this
very
was
soon,
a
if not
massive
already.
success
I honestly
that
think the
probably
Harry
would
Potter
not
was
have
just the
had as
beginning
much
to something
success
more, and
if
it seems they
wasn't
went
for
as
the
far
people
as they could
screeching
go.
about it
Although
on
if there was
social media
another
and
film
giving
in
it
this
free
franchise, then the
promotion.
possibility
But
is
as you can
high.
see, Warner Bros. Is acknowledging that, and they're aware of that. And they're doing everything in their power to make this a priority.
Again, a
Its
film
production,
franchise
get it
which
out
may or may
quickly,
not
and
end
on
this
top of
year.
that,
They have spent
the
much
only real
much
concern that people
too
like me
long
have
doing the
is
same
whether or
thing,
not
in
this
my
is going to be
opinion,
a
so
live
it won't
service
take
game.
them that
was
long to
rumored
move on
back a
once
few
this
months ago that they're
happens.
going to make the sequel a live service game, which would be an absolute travesty, especially knowing Warner Bros.
Absolutely, and they'll have time to create a game that works as good as they say it did, so I fully expect them to make it again.
Which was a live service game, and that was a massive financial loss for them. So why would they
For
take
the people,
something that
for sure not
actually
me, I want a
succeeded like the
single-player
original
game that doesn't give me
Hogwarts Legacy game and make
microtransactions,
it
so the
into a
live service is the
service
way I prefer
for
my
the sequel?
games,
If that
as
is true,
always.
that's the route they go. That is mind-boggling and a terrible choice.
Well, that
Now
game
let's
was
move on
awful.
to some
Honestly, if
more
anyone did an
gaming-related
animated
news.
version of
So
the story
here's
the way
that
I understand
many
the book
game
was, well,
services
anyone
having
could be
a
more excited by
breakdown on
that.
social media, even more than normal ever since the election results. And Alyssa Mercante from Kotaku has been very upset, targeting Melanie
You know there are
Actors,
two
saying,
types of players in
"We
life.
know
People
more
who
than
like
half of the
rules,
country
and
has
people who don't.
bloodworms and
Everyone
black
needs
hearts,
rules, even the
but they
people who
want
don't
to
like
remind
rules,
us.
because life has
Come
no
to New York
rules."
and say that to my face, baby girl.
What was
So
her
essentially
name?
challenging her to a real-life
There are no
confrontation, which is very
brainworms.
odd, especially given the fact that Alyssa is someone who is currently,
If there are, then that would be pretty gross.
alleging that
But the
she's
story is a
filing
complete
lawsuit
fake.
against the YouTuber Smash JT
She
for
does?
defamation and bullying her and all these things. But here she is on social media, actively inviting fights with people, which she's done before, and those fights,
She
and those
does?
challenges have been accepted by YouTubers like Vera Dark, who then
That is
also
pretty
made
sad,
basically
and I
impossible
agree.
terms to work with in order for the fight to happen.
Yup.
But yeah, this is very bizarre for someone who's saying all this, and Melanie Mac would respond basically saying she got challenged by
Lol.
a hobbit, and she would have to literally punch down because Alyssa Mercado
Wow.
is 5'2". But she would go on to say that she has no interest in actually fighting her, and honestly, that's the smart decision. Why would you give someone like this the time of day? It's crazy behavior. Like, oh, I
Don't
like what you
believe
say
everything
online.
you see
I'm
online.
going to fight you in real life. It's really childish, and this is the kind of behavior that games journalists try to portray.
Yeah,
gamers
that was
as,
fun.
when in reality, it's just projection with them as always. Let's move on to the next topic. So you guys probably know Tyga. We've talked about him on this channel recently. And
He's
the
been
drama
trying to
he's
get
dealt
people to
with
pay
amongst
money to his
Taku,
account and
also the
using his
very
subscribers to
sad
advertise a
reality
channel he
of
doesn't
his
have.
YouTube channel and also several Twitter accounts.
Yes, I think
that
so.
have been either unfairly or suspiciously banned and without any sort of remedy at this point.
He
And
was
it
actually
appears that
really
he is
popular, but he
facing
spent his
another
money
round
on
of
virtual currency or something I
ridiculous
can't remember,
harassment,
and he
where
only ever
someone
bought
basically
third-party
made
ads. The
a
comments are quite entertaining.
impersonation account trying to take his name and then was going around and saying some
What happened to him?
very disgusting things and trying to portray themselves as the official new channel for Tyga when clearly
Oh, poor guy,
it was
he's
not.
probably
This is
sad to think that some
frustrating
people
because
thought that was
Tyga would
okay
have
to do.
raise
It's
a
so
lot of
strange how a
attention
lot of
on
people can be
Twitter
like,
just
but
to
this
get
is what a man
addressed.
says, it's a different
Meanwhile,
context.
fan-related
When in
channels
fact,
that are just
that was exactly what he
uploading
meant.
clips of his streams and things like that from Twitch
A vid
are
made
getting
by
banned left
someone.
and right, but this person has to get
No, the
immense level
account
of
was him.
attention from social media for anything to happen to their account where they're maliciously trying to defame Tyga. Now, of course, what's even more frustrating is the fact that they are banned on YouTube. It makes it really hard to report these things for impersonation or anything like that because their main channel doesn't exist. So this person is getting
The channel
away with
had
it,
won
at least
500
they were,
subscribers, which
and
isn't
of
that
course,
big, and his real
get
channel
good
at
results.
250
One, it
million
appears
followers.
from
So it doesn't
my
make
angle here
sense.
that this
And I
channel
was very
has been
happy with
taken
how
down,
things
which is
turned
the right
out.
move, but the fact that it took so much mobilization for this to happen is really annoying and just another example of the YouTube system being broken in many different ways. But here's one more story I want to cover for today. So there's been a lot of drama on Twitch.
The most natural
So
response to hate.
basically,
I'm glad people
there
aren't
is
okay
this
with
whole
hate.
push
The only way we
about
get rid of it is
what
through indifference,
constitutes
or to turn it
extreme
into the
content or
exact
extreme
opposite.
comments that
I
can
feel
get you in
bad for
trouble.
his
This is
real
the rate
people.
of the
I
average
really
mobile
do.
ban,
But
and
sometimes
in
the
ways that
hate
people
isn't
have
there
been saying more
anymore.
about
You
this, other
get that when
are
people
saying
turn to
really
violence and
extreme
hate
stuff or doing
speech.
extreme stuff like Hassan Piker, for example.
So
That's the main
what?
example people use for all of his crazy
Yeah.
comments, platforming terrorists, showing terrorist propaganda on stream, things like that. And there's been absolute silence from Twitch.
So it
However,
has
they
been
decided
reported
in
on a
their
subreddit,
infinite
which I
wisdom
don't really visit.
to add a content classification label.
I think you
and
mean
adding a new
extremist.
content category focused on politics and debated issues. And this comes after a lot of people, including some US officials and advertisers, allegedly trying to go after Twitch and ask
Yeah,
them,
sure.
why are you allowing content like that to exist on your platform, referring to some of the extreme comments made by people like Hassan Piker. And if you look at this category, it's even more ridiculous because you don't even have to label your stream.
Sure.
It says verbatim. We want to make it clear that you don't need to label your stream if you're talking
Can we be
about
friends?
your lived experience. Whatever that means. And shocker, none of the people who
If
are
you like.
being targeted by this rule are using it. And why would they? Because it's only going to restrict their content or the potential advertisers that might show up on their stream. So another weird move by Twitch. But for now,
I can do that if you
is
want.
the latest round of topic parkour, lots of topics. So as
I'm
always,
sorry that
please
I am
share
not
your
able to
thoughts
provide
about
a
today's
good
topics in
solution
the
for this
comments section
problem.
down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Do you think I'm a good creator? I like what you said about me. Thank you, Ref, for the wonderful news, or well, not so wonderful news. Remember to like and subscribe on the original video, and I'll have the link in the description and pinned comment. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Who the hell eats moose? They're everywhere! It's gross! And they don't sell that either! The boy who cheated, what you touching? What the heck?